Tyler, the creator, is an artist who's known for breaking the rules of music. Out of key notes, key changes mid-song, unusual sound combinations. But when most producers try to recreate this, they just end up with a jumbled mess of sounds that don't work together. Today, we're gonna be breaking down 3 beats which cover all of Tyler's main sounds and major production techniques used in his music. So I just started with the UAD Electra 808 vintage keys. So I've broken down the chord progression into its simplest form, and there's a major production technique Tyler uses here, which is borrowing chords from other keys. His melodies are often jazzy, so it doesn't always just follow one scale. So I'll show you a very easy way to use chords that are outside of the key. So starting out this progression, we just start with the B major. We're in the key of B major, so we're starting in the 1, going up to the C sharp minor to B major, and this is where the out of key chord happens, right here. We go up to this E minor 9th, which this chord is supposed to be major. We go to E minor 9th and then up to E major 9th. So this is a technique that I call the minor to major switch. But essentially this major to minor switch is just when I'm going up to a major chord, because I could have easily done this. I could have easily went from B to E. It sounds fine, but putting that minor before it, it gives it this jazzy feel and this jazzy transition. From there, if we listen to some of Tyler's songs like Dogtooth or Earthquake, the chords sound much bigger, jazzier, and they're not just basic triads like what I had laid down there.
She could ride my face, I don't want nothing in return. Her body counting who she fuck ain't never my concern.
So I've gone in, made the chords much bigger, 9th chords, even just adding extra notes and giving it this top line melody. In the major to minor switch, I have this right here, which is the notes are going up chromatically, and this is very good for Tyler. It gives that out of key jazzy feel. So if you can have anywhere where you can add this in your melodies, I'd highly recommend you do it. Now we need to layer the chords, but we're not just going to copy paste the chord progression and call it a day. I'm going to show you the proper way to layer your sounds. Now, Tyler often has these big, beautiful, dreamy sounding melodies, and that's what we're going to try and replicate here. This can be heard on songs like See You Again or Are We Still Friends?
You're the one that's always running through my daydream.
So I started by laying down this UAD grand piano, and notice I got rid of the top line and I added a different melody into the piano. The key to layering is not to just copy paste the same sound over and over again. It's to use the same progression, but change up the voicings, change out the different counter melodies in there, and give each instrument their own unique pattern. That way it sounds less robotic and more realistic, and you have a bunch of different moving parts, which makes one bigger piece of music. I just added this bouncy bass line using the bass from the chords. We lay down these strings from Omnisphere. I then lay down one final top line melody, which layers this bell, as well as these keys. Now notice the keys are playing the entire melody, while the bells are just accenting certain parts. That's another technique you can use to make these bigger sounding melodies, have multiple top lines playing the same pattern, but only have certain sounds accenting certain parts. For mixing, these sounds really don't have any crazy effects, but to give it that vintage vibe, this is the real sauce. I've got this rabbit tape plugin on the master. You can use any tape machine plugin or VHS plugin just to give it that vintage feel. So we have the grit turned up a little bit. We have this wow, which kind of off tunes it. and then this flutter, which gives it that tape machine like cutting out kind of feel. So that's the final melody in terms of the vintage, beautiful sounding part. But another huge part of Tyler's production are his iconic synths. This unusual sound combination creates a very unique sound that you automatically associate with Tyler when you hear it. So I started by layering the chords with this synth and this synth bass, which is a staple of Tyler's production. Next, I wanted to create an ARP like the ones you could hear on Running Out of Time or I'll Take Care of You. So I took this synth, just copied the notes from the chords and clicked in a super fast repetitive melody. On that is just EQ, reverb, and delay. Then I just added 2 more lead melodies on top of that, which both play at different times in the beat. From there, we bounce the sample, and there's something Tyler does in some of his songs, which is detune the melodies. So I pitched it up 20 cents, and now we have this. Now for the drums, Tyler has a mix of live drums, trap drums, 2000 sounds, and so much stuff put together. You hear that 2000 style drums on songs like Darling I, you hear the trap stuff on Earthquake. So I just took a few sounds from my drum kit, the nostalgia pack, and laid down some very basic trap patterns. We're not trying to do anything crazy here because the melody's crazy enough. And now notice with the hats, I've actually played this in live just to give it more of a realistic feeling. Now for some more 2000s and live drum sounds, I just dragged in one of the drum loops from my nostalgia pack, and now it sounds like this. For a lot of my Tyler beats, I won't even add 808s. I'll just let those synth basses do the work. But for this one, since it's more of a trappy beat, I added some 808s that I got from the nostalgia pack, just copied the bass line. Now we got this. Now finally, we got a little something like this. Now we're going to get into a harder style track for Tyler the Creator. So starting out, if you listen to songs like Thought I Was Dead, Sticky, Who Dat Boy, they have melodies, but they're very subtle and the beats are mostly percussion heavy.
In 2018, like I play for the Bills going OD. Niggas finna get rich and they act weird. God, they must be smoking ketamine. Always talking about potential, bitch. I am the better me. Y'all just that motherfucker. I'm a goddamn artist. You can give me some markers and I draw you.
So I just started out with this percussion loop I found on Splice. From here, I added a bunch of Vox to fill in the mix. So we have 4 different ones all layered on top of each other. On that main Vox, the one that's repeating every other beat, we have Stereo Shaper, we have Crush, which is a bit crusher, and then we have Reverb. That just makes it spacey and not in the center. So then when we have those other layers on top of it, those are the main focus, while that one's more in the background. From there, if you listen to Igor's theme, I love that just deep synth bass which plays throughout the beat. You can hear the Vox in there as well. So I just got this bass from Analog Lab and laid down this. From there, if you listen to Lemonhead, I love those horns that you hear on it, which are just playing a super simple dark melody.
You say pandemic. Oh, you want to see a pandemic?
So I just went into this sessions horns, and I just laid down a melody which follows the same notes as that bass. Then one more layer as well. Then finally, I just arpeggiated those same notes with this synth. On that, we added stereo shaper, bit crusher, saturation knob, and delay. From there, that's it melodically. These beats are not melody based. The drums are really what carries the rhythm, so we don't have to do anything too crazy for the melodies. Now, if we go back to the Tyler songs, you can hear it's not always just basic trap sound selection. There's different types of snares, kicks, a bunch of sounds layered on top of each other to get a pretty unique sound. Especially the snare on Ratata. I like how it's not just a normal trap snare. So I took this Kanye Good Morning snare and I pitched it down 1 octave. I then layered it with 2 more snares just to give it some punch, you know. Still have that trap punch, but have a little bit of a unique sound under it. From there, just a basic kick pattern. Now there's 2 routes you can go for the drums. Super percussion heavy, don't even really add a hi-hat pattern, just let the percussion fill in the rhythm. Or don't have too many perks and have like a super fast pace, have a lot of rolls in the hats, and that's kind of what I chose to do here. Finally, if we go back to Who Dat Boy, you can hear these super distorted 808s, which I wanted to take inspiration for in my beat.
Y'all just that motherfucker, I'm a goddamn artist. You can give me some markers and I draw you a closet and you know that.
From there, it's all about the structure. You want things to build up, take things out. So I started with just this build up of the drums and the box. We brought in the kicks. And then I added this snare roll for the drop. And I'll show you a trick I did here. If you go over to the note find pitch, and you could just hold right click and then drag down, and it gives it this pitch down effect. From here, no 808s yet, just really letting that synth bass take over. But as soon as that synth bass comes in, we have this automated EQ, so you can see cuts out all the low end. Before we get into the last beat, I just want to tell you about the nostalgia pack. I've been talking about it a lot in this video. It's my 2000 style multi-kit. This thing's got a drum kit, drum midis, melody midis, a loop kit, all specifically for 2000s beats, which guess what? Tyler the Creator is heavily inspired by the 2000s. I just updated the kit with a bunch more loops and sounds that are catered towards this Tyler the Creator type of stuff. Link in the description below. I've half the price of the kit and it's going back up after 10 copies are sold. Get it now before it's too late. Now let's get back into this video. So we're going to end off the video with one of those 6/8 Tyler the Creator type beats that he likes to throw in on each of his albums. Songs like Him, Are We Still Friends, and Sorry Not Sorry.
I don't see you more. I'm sorry that the 4 minutes where you see a song could feel like a chore.
So for these beats, it's the exact same formula as the first beats we made, except the time signature is a little different. Now you could actually change the time signature in FL, but when I make these beats, I don't do that. I'm gonna be honest. I just produce everything in the 1/6 step. So this was an old beat I made. I don't have the loop FLP, but I'll break it down sound by sound. First off, we're pitched up 330 cents again, doing that detuned effect. Basic jazzy chords. Little diminished chord at the end, giving it that jazzy feel. Layers with the Rhodes. Another layer with the pad. Layer with the synth. Layered with the strings. It's the same formula as last time. Bass line. Then switch up into a synth bass just like last time. Same bell preset as the last beat, same strings as well. ARP. Another ARP. Lead. A similar lead, just different sound. The only thing that's different about these beats are the drums. Everything is produced in the 1/6 beat. I then just added some extra live percussion sounds. The final thing are these kick rolls, which you could hear throughout the Tyler songs. So I replicated that here at the end of the pattern. I just have this kick build up. Tyler's production is honestly just super ADHD, super creative, and it's weird but all intentional. I hope these tips helped you for your beats. Get the nostalgia pack. The price is half right now. I'll see you in the next one.